Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. I've had this past Wednesday, May 17th, circled on my calendar for a while now. The reason being is because it was Warner Brothers Discovery's Upfront. It was the day that we're going to hear about all of the new and upcoming shows within all of Warner Brothers Discovery, but more specifically within Cartoon Network. At least that was the hope. If you guys remember last year, back in 2022, Warner Brothers Discovery had their first big Upfront, and they had all these celebrities come out onto the stage. They had athletes like Pedro Martinez, Shaquille O'Neal. They had them come to talk about the future of this big brand, but there was no mention of Cartoon Network. But this year was going to be different. At least that's what I was hoping. And if you guys haven't seen the news or the lack thereof, once again, Cartoon Network was not mentioned at all whatsoever at Warner Brothers Discovery's big Upfront for this year. There was no mention of any new programs, no mention of the network at all from what I can tell, unless if something was said behind closed doors, because some of it was behind closed doors and has not leaked out. But there is no news for Cartoon Network. There is no new shows coming out on the channel, but there was mention of Adult Swim, and this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting and a little bit controversial, because it was announced that in September, Adult Swim will be starting at 6 p.m. Yes, you heard me right. This September, Cartoon Network will start to sign off at 6 p.m. with Adult Swim coming on from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. A full 12 hours worth of Adult Swim. And guess what, guys? Cartoonito currently has an hour and a half on the channel, meaning that Cartoon Network, the channel itself, is called Cartoon Network, and Cartoon Network is now going to become a block within its own channel. Adult Swim is going to have the majority of airtime, with Cartoon Network only getting 10.5 hours, whereas Adult Swim is going to get a full 12 hours of airtime. And this is just not the greatest news. I'm just kind of at a loss for words, and I'm a bit concerned, honestly, regarding the future of Cartoon Network, because we've heard rumors for a while now. Last year, if you guys recall, there were rumors that Cartoon Network is going to get shut down. There's the whole merging of Cartoon Network Studios and Warner Brothers Animation, which in my opinion is not that big of a deal, but when you couple that with the fact that there's rumors of the network being shut down, we see all of a sudden Adult Swim is not only gaining an hour starting at 7 p.m. as opposed to 8 p.m., but now in September, it's going to gain yet another hour of airtime. And Cartoon Network is now going to just be relegated to a 10.5 hour block on the channel when it is the channel. The brand is Cartoon Network. That is what it says when you turn on whatever channel Cartoon Network is with your cable provider. So I'm a bit concerned, not only because of the things I just mentioned, but also because what's coming to the channel? Where are the new shows? We don't have any concrete information on premiere dates for any of these new series. We can presume the Total Drama Island revival is coming this year because it is ready. We've seen some leaked trailers of it, so I presume it is coming this year. But other than that, what's coming to Cartoon Network? There is no new shows that are slated for this year. The ones that were slated for this year, in Unicorn Wars Eternal and My Adventures with Superman, were moved to Adult Swim. So it really seems like they're prioritizing Warner Brothers Discovery. They're prioritizing Adult Swim over Cartoon Network. And I was planning a whole video speculating on this, but there's no speculation anymore because we pretty much have confirmation from everything that we've been seeing. They're putting more programs on Adult Swim than Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network's getting less airtime than Adult Swim now, so it really seems to me like they're trying to push Cartoon Network to the side in favor of Adult Swim taking over the channel. And I personally really don't get that sentiment and really don't get what they're trying to do here. They keep saying that Adult Swim is this really popular block or brand, and they're trying to expand it because of how popular it is. Well, you ever think that maybe the reason why Adult Swim is doing better than Cartoon Network is doing, at least according to your numbers, quote unquote, or at least what you guys are saying publicly, you ever think the reason why is maybe because, I don't know, over the past, more than the past half decade or so, you guys haven't exactly been making content for Cartoon Network. You really haven't. We were living in a time back in the mid 2000s and even the early 2010s where we had multiple programs premiere on Cartoon Network per year. You would have 2 to 4, maybe even 5 shows premiere on the channel in a given year, when in the meantime, you look at the past like 5 to 6 years, maybe even a little bit more than that, and you're lucky if you get one new show premiering on Cartoon Network in a given year. And on top of that, you could argue that the majority of the shows that they have premiered over the past half decade or so haven't exactly been great. Look, there are some outliers there, like I think Craig of the Creek's a great show, I liked We Bare Bears and stuff like that, but if you look at it, it's your Teen Titans Goes, your Ben 10 reboots, your Powerpuff Girls reboots, all of these comedies that, let's be honest here, they're not exactly of the highest quality. No wonder people are moving to Adult Swim, because Adult Swim at least has some decent programming on it as opposed to Cartoon Network, and now all of a sudden the executives are taking that as, oh, people just don't like Cartoon Network anymore, let's just have Adult Swim have more airtime. No, people like Cartoon Network, people love Cartoon Network. The problem is that Cartoon Network hasn't been making Cartoon Network content. They're not making the same content, the same level of output that they were in prior years, and instead of trying to support the network, it seems like we're kind of setting it up to fail. I'm genuinely curious if Cartoon Network is going to exist in the next 5 to 10 years. I am seriously wondering that, because it doesn't seem like Warner Brothers Discovery cares all that much about it. It really doesn't, because 2 years in a row at an Upfront, they had no mention of Cartoon Network. Now we're learning that Adult Swim is yet taking another hour away from Cartoon Network on the channel. The strange thing about this as well is Michael Oline has publicly said that there's great things coming for Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. They're really starting to turn things around from this merger, and we're gonna have some great content coming. And in a way, I kind of feel bad for Michael Oline, if I'm being honest, because I feel like if he was given free reign to do whatever he wanted, I feel like the network would look drastically different than what it actually looks like right now. I don't know what it is, but it seems like David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers Discovery, it seems like he really does not care whatsoever, to put it nicely, because I almost said something that I shouldn't be saying in a video, but it really seems like he couldn't care less about Cartoon Network. I just don't get it. That's one of your big brands. For a while now, honestly, even under Warner Media when they were owned by AT&T, it really seemed like Cartoon Network was kind of just there. It seemed like, you know, these companies are buying Warner Brothers for the other big properties they have, like Batman, all the DC comic characters, and, you know, all this other stuff they have, TBS, TNT, the sports rights, all this stuff, and it really seems like no one really cares about Cartoon Network, and no one cares about the properties and the IPs and the brands and all these characters that have been created over this 30-year history. I feel like if you don't care about it, David Zaslav, why don't you just sell it? Like, I'm being serious. Like, go sell Cartoon Network to someone who does care about it, because you clearly don't. And I saw this somewhere online, and take this with a grain of salt because I don't know the validity of it, but I saw somewhere online that apparently Cartoon Network is canceling, or not they're canceling, kind of the higher-ups are canceling all of the upcoming programming on the channel in favor of just doing reboots and revivals of older series. While I'm all for rebooting and reviving some older series where it makes sense, don't cancel all of the upcoming programs that were new original ideas, because that's what made Cartoon Network Cartoon Network. If it wasn't for all the new original ideas in the 90s and in the 2000s, Cartoon Network would have never became Cartoon Network. David Zaslav, the higher-ups at Warner Brothers Discovery, if any of you ever hear this video, please, if you don't care about Cartoon Network, we care about Cartoon Network, so sell it to somebody who actually will put the effort in and give the fans what we deserve, because right now you guys clearly don't care, and I'm hoping that things start to turn around. But it's like every time I feel like something positive happens with this merger, every single time, and I said this recently, every time an ounce of positivity comes out, something negative happens. It's like they keep putting their foot in their mouths because they can't do something good without following up by doing something bad. I think I said it in the Max video where they're rebranding HBO Max to Max. It's just like they're repeating it. It's constant. Whenever they do something good, something bad is coming. Maybe even two bad things are coming. It's like they can never just do something good just to do something good. It's always like, hey, we have this good thing coming, but in about a week or two or a month or so, you're going to find out about a bad thing that's coming. So hopefully things turn around from here, but right now I'm really genuinely concerned for Cartoon Network. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. Are you guys concerned like me for the future of Cartoon Network? And are you shocked and disappointed that Adult Swim is taking yet another hour of airtime from Cartoon Network? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.